division centrale pense qu'on a de nouveaux protagonistes à Hell's Kitchen.
Qu'est-ce qu'ils veulent?
Le bureau du proc pense que c'est un indépendant.
Ils traquent les gangs jusque sur leur territoire et les éliminent avec une précision militaire.
You know, I think an actor of John's caliber and experience he doesn't need a chemistry test necessarily.
The chemistry test really was fighting.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the end of one. Yeah.
I think with Matt, I would say to him, always beware of the ego. Just beware of what your ego tells you and you know, who your ego wants you to be and what it wants you to do. I would say to him, stay in touch with your humility.
I think the only thing I could say to Frank I'd just say I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry for your loss.
Peut-être on l'a créé. On est tous responsables.
Ça n'a rien à voir.
On n'a jamais pris le temps de réfléchir au fait que les actions de Daredevil pouvaient ouvrir la voie à des hommes comme ça.
I think that in order for Daredevil to be just in what he's doing and in his methods and his philosophy, I have to be wrong, and I think the converse is also true. And so I think that as these guys come into more and more contact, a deep respect is developed and admiration. Daredevil, deeply influences and changes Frank.
When he meets someone like Frank, of course, Frank is able to see the stuff that other people don't see, just because they're cut from the same cloth. So he's able to see this is a man who's very lonely, and very ashamed, and very afraid, and is engaging in vigilante justice, not just because he believes it's right, but because there is a fundamental kind of need there. And a fundamental kind of lack of security and safety and all those things in him that has not been addressed. When I don't know how to answer a question, I just look at you.
Yeah, man. Back in Los Angeles, I was doing a movie where I was playing a police officer, and I was driving down the street on Fairfax. And I heard an old woman scream, and she said, "Help, help!" And I looked, and the guy had stolen her purse and was running.
No way.
Yeah, and I flipped my truck around, and I chased the guy down the street, and I pulled my truck over, and I ran out, and I tackled him.
No way.
Yeah. And I brought him over, but I said, "Stop, police!" And I pretended to be a cop, and I put him up against the car, and I grabbed him, and I held him there for the police to come. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Citizen's arrest.
Yeah, I just held him there. I pretended to be a police officer.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really stupid.